microphone. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order the regularly scheduled meeting of the Community Service Commission for August 3rd, 2022. Commissioner Betts has an excused absence, so she will not be here tonight. And tonight we are going to have Commissioner Scher lead us in the pledge. Commissioner Scher.
All right, please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Scher. On the agenda tonight, Doug Ergman from our Public Works Department is going to be speaking. He is not here right now. He's still tied up, but he will be here later, so we're going to move straight to public comments. Madam Secretary, do we have any public comments?
Yes, we have one public speaker tonight, and that's Steve Edwards.
Thank you.
Mr. Edwards?
Welcome, Mr. Edwards.
Good evening, folks, and thank you for the opportunity to address the Commission. First of all, let me say thank you for your time and efforts in what you do. I'm here in support of the City of Lake Forest pursuing more opportunities for pickleball play. There's a couple items. I appreciate the courts you guys have installed up by Glen Ranch Road. Please have someone check the nets. A couple of them are hanging by their last thread, so they need replacement. I hope the lights are installed soon as the days get shorter. Please, I encourage the council or the commission to consider more opportunities for the play of pickleball. And don't judge the popularity of the sport based on the indoor play at the sports park. Tuesday and Thursday mornings between 8:30 and 10:30 is not a real conducive time for a lot of people to play. But if you go up to the courts there at Glen Ranch Road early every single morning and in the afternoon after work hours, those courts are getting filled up and people are waiting to play. So please consider other opportunities to create the ability for people to play this great game, and that's growing by leaps and bounds every year elsewhere throughout the city. That's all I have to say, and I encourage you guys with any opportunities you have to make this sport available to more. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Surgeon. Thank you for your enthusiasm about possibly extending more pickleball courts. We appreciate the input. Thank you. Mr. Deputy City Manager, is that something we would put on the agenda, or would you take it back to staff?
Good evening, Honorable Chair. That is something we'll continue to speak with Public Works, and as Mr. Erdman is here later, I think that's something that we could bring up with them as we move forward with our new CIP budget that will be going to the City Council in the spring. That's also a time that we can have that discussion with the Commission as well as the City Council.
Okay, thank you. Alrighty. Okay, we're going to now, thank you again, Mr. Edwards. Now we're going to move on to the consent calendar. Does anybody have any comments or changes or edits to the minutes of the July 6th Community Service Commission?
Madam
Commissioner
Chair.
Gould, Chair.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
Staff does have one correction to the
Oh,
minutes.
yes, please, sorry, thank you.
So the recording secretary for the meeting last month was myself. The draft noted Jennifer Weiss, so we'll make that correction in the final document.
Okay, thank you so much. Did anybody want to pull item 3, discussion Lake Forest tickets? Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes? Or the consent calendar, excuse me, the consent
I
calendar?
so moved.
A second? I'll second. Thank you, Vice Chair Herron. Okay. Guess we're voting.
Oh, we're voting. I don't have anything yet. Do you have
Oh,
anything yet?
no.
We're waiting.
We're waiting.
It's done.
It's taking a minute to come up, so I'm just going to do a quick roll call vote, if that's okay. Commissioner Gould? Commissioner Scheer?
Yes.
Vice Chair Herron?
Yes.
And Chair Matzel.
Aye.
That motion passes 4-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Secretary. Next, we have Deputy City Manager Channing, would you like to present the discussion items?
Yes, thank you, Honorable Chair. Our first item for discussion is going to be the July Recreation Report. And with that, I'm going to hand it off to the two recreation managers, Vicki Bluthen and Laura Lisak, for their presentation. So I'll let you draw straws on who goes first.
I'm only going to go first because it's just the way that it lands with the 4th of July parade. So, good evening, Chair Matzel and fellow commissioners. Tonight I'm going to present to you the events that occurred during the month of July. As we well can imagine and remember, we had the 4th of July parade, and the parade was back in town. After 2 years of being gone, we were happy to have the parade back, and very well attended, both by entries along with our community members and all of our residents. We had over 72 entries register. As in years past, we had the El Toro High School Blue Regiment, along with their pep squad and cheer squad. We had our famous vintage fire trucks, our Uncle Sam, our mini Manus miniature therapy horses, and this year we had mini cows, so that was really cute, along with goats and sheep. And as you saw, the parade route was lined with several families, which concluded our great event that we were so anticipating from the last couple years. We also had another quite amazing event over at the sports park the week of July 12th. We had a national championship sports World Series that took place over at the sports park. We've had it for the second year now, with over 90 teams and over 1,200 participants and players. It was a great host for our facility. We had several compliments. Players from all over Orange County came to play, and as you can see in those pictures, somehow this amazing organization was able to have a flyover from these vintage airplanes. So that was really cool. They didn't just fly over once, they flew over, they flew back, they did some circles. So they spent a good amount of time in the air, and as you can see, the kids below are just amazed. And then Lake Forest Little League was able to have their concession stand there, and I believe they have a very successful week as well, with all the people in attendance. So that was a great, brought a lot of attendees from outside of the county and brought a lot of attention to the sports park. So we were really thrilled to have them there for the week of July 12th. And continuing on with the rest of our activities at the sports park and community center, you could see our numbers there for contract classes and our sports permits. They're still steady and consistent from June to July. Our numbers always seem to stay pretty consistent through the summer. That I know you know that those are our busiest times of the year. And as you can see, the community center rentals, those are still keeping some momentum there as well. The number of participants obviously fluctuates depending on the size of the rental, but our permits are still coming in, and we're still getting a variety of different types of rentals. So it's nice to see all the different celebrations, whether it be a wedding reception or even a celebration of life. People are just thrilled to be here, and so complimentary of the way that the Civic Center has all come together, and not only that, but just the customer service that our staff is able to provide. So that's my report, and I'll turn it over to Vicki.
Thank you, Manager Lisa.
The only highlight that I was going to talk with you all about this evening was the community services revenue for last fiscal year. So we closed out our fiscal year in June, and we met our percentage total at 115%. So we were over what we had thought we were going to be making in collected revenue for this past fiscal year. Really nice to see the programs all back and coming in, and usually that last push is for our summer programs. The majority of the money comes in June. We do that June registration. So that's really nice to see that those numbers are where they're at this year. One last highlight, though, is the upcoming calendar. I did add the dates through the month of November. So you have all those dates now to put on your calendar for all of our upcoming events. Just a note to make sure you definitively put on your calendar the 10/22 event, the Sports Park and Recreation Center Spooktacular. We've moved our event over to the Sports Park this year to have that be the venue for that particular event. We have one more concert to do for the summertime. We have a new dance that we're going to be doing at the clubhouse. It's a Western theme, the rodeo dance. And then we also have Fall Boutique, another new event, and we're getting ready for our fall registration. So a lot of stuff coming up this summer, very, very busy, great summer. Happy to be going into the fall now and looking forward to some new events here in the fall. If we have any questions, Laura and I would be very happy to answer those for you.
Oh, Manager Lisa, I probably should know this, but I'm just curious, I'm sure you've said what it is, but at Etnies, Rollpocalypse?
That was an event, a new event this year that we had at the skate park. Roller skating has once again come into fashion. I don't know if you've noticed that, or have been big articles about it. I grew up in Santa Barbara, and at that era, 70s and 80s, the downtown by the beach was always full of people skating. Well, it has come back into popularity again. So the staff at the skate park worked with a international organization that puts on roller skating contest, and we're very popular. This is the first year that we worked with them. We will definitively work with them again. They had people from all over the world at this particular event. So it was very cool to see. And once again, trying to bring new activities to the venue that can bring another new population to see not only the skate park, but the rest of our city.
Yeah, I love roller skating. It's really great.
Yeah, super. They did some pretty amazing stuff at the park.
I grew up on ice skating in Colorado. I mean, you can find there are some rinks around, but so I adopted roller skating since I moved
Yeah,
here.
so
It's a lot of fun.
It was very cool to watch.
Thank you. I just had one comment, Ms. Lisak. Thank you for a very productive post-4th of July parade meeting. Ms. Lisak had a post, as she always does, very productive. You know, we learned things that we can improve on, and everybody had comments, so that was a really good, and all our comments were taken in consideration. So thank you. It was a good meeting. Thank you. Commissioners, any comments on the reports?
I do have
Commissioner Gould?
just 2 questions for you. So the concert in the park, that was absolutely amazing and fun and wonderful. I was curious, what's the city's costs on that to host a concert in the park if you had to average it? I know you have to pay, the people to set it up and whoever performs.
Our average cost between giveaways, stage, the bands that we pay and everything, it's close to $20,000 a concert.
And then do you guys get any revenue from those food trucks or anything that you have there?
We don't, because these days it's just hard for them to commit, to be honest with you. There's so much competition with different activities going on, so really there's no contribution back to the city. We just let them take, the proceeds from whatever they make.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I was just curious because they're so popular, and I know I was talking to you and looking at how many people were in attendance. There's just all different ages across all the cities and other cities. I ended up talking to people from Mission Viejo and other neighboring cities, and it's very popular. So
Right.
I know we hold a few, but if anybody asked me, I would love to have more throughout the summer if it's something that the city can do cost-wise, because it is so popular and people absolutely love it.
We don't have a direct revenue coming from the concerts, but we have incorporated the concerts 1, 2, or 3 in a series for our sponsorship package. So that is a way we do try and have some revenue come in for that. That sponsorship package that got finalized this year, right? Yeah, got finalized this year. Companies or organizations in the city are able to be part of this, sponsor 1 concert, 2 concerts, 3 concerts, different packages and levels. So we have had, I think at the last concert, you had 2 sponsors, 2 or 3 sponsors. So it does help with offset some of the cost.
So what's the average sponsor payment for that? So if it's 20 out, what is it? What are we getting in?
Yeah.
So most of the sponsorship, even for the parade, all of our special events have the capability to acquire sponsorships. It's basically up to the individual companies. I would say the average is $1,000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so not too much to offset that 20,000 cost. Okay. And then, okay, so thank you. And then I did have a question on the community service revenue, and it looks like we're up 115% of budgeted, which is amazing. I was wondering, like, do you have a number on cost recovery for the cost for these different line items and how much percentage-wise we're recovering on the cost?
You know what, I normally show that number here at the bottom in the information. Right offhand, Brett, do you know that, do you have that number offset? We at one point in time, we're shooting for like 8%. I know we're way above 8% now.
Right.
Commissioner Golds, are you asking what our typical cost recovery is for most of our programming versus the revenue budget?
Well, yeah, I think like you hit it on the nose, it's usually 8% is like the goal cost recovery, and I just wanted to know if that's still consistent, or, because I know prices had gone up, field rentals had gone up, and I wanted to see if we have exceeded that 8%.
The 8% was not a number that was set by council. So if you're looking for a number that was set by council, at this point in time, we don't have a number, but I can do a cost recovery analysis for you using the last fiscal year's expenditures and obviously the revenue, and I can give you, definitely give you a number.
That would be good to know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah.
The,
If I can interrupt
Yeah.
there, Vicki. So the council did set a percentage for most of recreation services back in 2020 or 2019, excuse me, and that was at 20%, which is, as you may recall, why we went through updating a lot of the fees in 2020, particularly with our field rentals being so low. I think they were at about 7%. So we were trying to get up to that 20%. We have not done any sort of cost recovery analysis since then. We have our fee consultant that will be coming on board to do that analysis in the spring of 2023. So probably this time next year, or earlier, we'll know in the spring of next year as they do their full fee analysis once again, and then we might be looking at updating fees again.
Okay, yeah, I was just curious if we were on target.
Yeah, I think, I don't know if we've hit that 20%. I think we'll be close.
Okay.
But
That's
we, as you recall, most of those fees that we updated didn't go into effect until January.
Right.
So we might not be there yet, but I think we're going in that direction.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Gould. Any other comments, Commissioners?
Oh, yes, please.
Vice Chair Herron?
All right, so in regards to the Sports Park Spooktacular, is that taking the place of us doing anything at Heritage Hill? Oh, okay, all right, because the county's just gonna do Heritage Hill thing. Oh, yeah. Victor would know. That's right, okay, I just want to make sure I got it all straight. Okay, and I've already got all this in my calendar. I'm ready to go. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Is Mr. Erdman here? Oh, there he is. I'm sorry, Mr. Erdman. Welcome. So Mr. Erdman will now present his report. Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Chairwoman and Commissioners of the Community Services Commission. I'm happy to present the quarterly update for the capital improvement projects for April to June. I'd like to just highlight a couple of recently completed projects and upcoming projects that are occurring. We recently completed the resurfacing of Glen Ranch Road from Portola Parkway to the city limit. We also completed the slurry seal project for Zone F, which is the Foothill Ranch area. And we've recently awarded construction contracts for the last of the neighborhood park improvements projects for Vintage and Sundowner, and for Borrego Overlook, Rancho Serrano, and Regency Parks. At Borrego Overlook, they'll get updated shade structure and new play equipment. Same thing at Vintage Park. We'll get the new updated play equipment, shade structures, and a walking exercise path. Regency Park will get a walking path around the soccer field, and Rancho Serrano and Sundowner will receive updated amenities for the parks. I'm available for any questions you have at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Erdman. Just on a personal note, I kind of patrol the two parks in my area. I jog up there for the last 30 years. And I live right now, I used to live down the hill. Now I live up the hill from Tamarisk. The lawn is always kept really well. The trash is always empty. The restrooms always look good. It's a very popular park. And also Peachwood Park, always well-kept. And so that's a personal note from the two parks, Peachwood and Tamarisk in my neighborhood, very nicely kept.
I'll pass that along to our maintenance department.
Commissioners, any comments for Mr. Erdman?
Oh, well, I'll add my 2 cents.
Commissioner, Vice Chair Herman?
So I'm part of the VIP program, which I love, and I'm so glad we're doing that. And I just appreciate all that you guys do for our parks, because it's a big part of our community. And I know a lot of people use it, and they appreciate it. So I just want to say thank you, so pass that along to everyone.
I will.
Okay, all right. Now, are you going to hang out?
Yes, I will.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Erdman, for that really good report. Excuse me. Okay, we're moving on back to the thing. We're up to Deputy City Manager. Do you have any additional comments, Mr. Channing?
I do. Thank you, Chair Matzel. Just a few. Wanted to mention the National Night Out event that took place last night at the sports park. I know I got to see a few of you there. I think it went well, and it was a good representation of our sports park and the beautiful facility that it is. It's always nice to be able to have public safety there showing off their equipment and personnel for the community to come out and enjoy. So I think that was a great event, and want to thank our staff for their participation in helping put that on. Also, I wanted to let the commission know that the 4th of July parade winners will be recognized at the next city council meeting, which is August 16th. So all the judges, for those that are unaware, we had judges throughout the parade route, and they submitted scores for various categories for all of our parade entries. And those that were selected as winners will be recognized at our next city council meeting, along with some of our sponsors. And I also wanted to call attention, I don't think it was mentioned, we have a movie in the park on Friday, August 12th. It'll be Mary Poppins. So hopefully we'll see. We've been getting great turnouts at all of our movies in the parks this summer. So we hope to see another great turnout for that. And that's also at the Lake Forest Sports Park. And we'll start at once it's dark, so about 8:15-ish, 8:30. And then also just wanted to make it known that currently the city council nomination period is open, or for anyone in the community in districts 2, 3, and 4 for the ability to submit paperwork if anyone's interested in being a city council member. That closes on August 12th. So again, just wanted to let that known for the community. And that's it for me.
Thank you, Deputy Commissioner Channing. Okay, Commissioner Gould, any comments?
Just like always, thank you, staff, for everything you do, and I know that was a huge tournament over at Sports Park, and like you mentioned, you had Lake Forest Little League host the snack bar, and it just went swimmingly well and very profitable, and I think the people in attendance, I think they appreciate having us there so that they don't have to leave, and having food right there so they can get to it. So again, thank you for your continued support.
Thank you, Commissioner Gould. Commissioner Scher.
Thank you. I do have a comment or question regarding the 4th of July parade. I didn't see any signage on the individual floats that came through, and I'm wondering if signage is required, because I couldn't recognize what the floats are in terms of lack of signage of who the float represented. And I'm curious if there's a reason why we don't want to do that, or it was just overlooked.
It's really up to each individual entry, how they, announce their entry and who they are. Some of the walkers have banners. Some of the floats, they do have banners. The dignitaries obviously have banners. I couldn't put a banner on the commissioner vehicle, unfortunately, because it was a wooden vehicle and I had a magnetic sign, so that didn't quite work out that way. But everybody has a way of notifying the community, and if they don't notify them, it's because they've chosen not to or whatever. But for the most part, I mean, most people really do present themselves in the way that they want to be presented. So whether it is their banner on the side, it's a walking banner. The participant meetings that we go over with the entries, we try to tell them to, to label themselves or to be recognized the way that they want to be recognized. And short of having more announcers in other locations, we have 4 different locations with announcers that are announcing to those areas specifically as to what entry is coming up, and basically a brief description of what those entries are. But it's truly up to them how they represent themselves and how they announce themselves with a sign.
Yeah, I see. I know, I'm aware of the announcing, but many viewers are in places where they don't hear the announcements as they see the floats go by. So I was hoping that each entry would have some name recognition of who the particular group would be. And since it's left up to the discretion, I can understand that.
Commissioner Scheer, the floats, and correct me please if I'm wrong, well, I should know this, right? They're numbered, and it goes in the right-hand corner of that, or if it's a banner, it gets pinned to the banner, or if it's walking, somebody holds the number. So they can identify by looking in the program. So maybe next year we could just have a number on the other side, so the people on the other side of the street. But, it's easy to follow, I feel, in the program with the numbers. But maybe put numbers on the other side next year? What do you think?
Yeah, we could do a few different numbers. It just gets to be, then there's always something, there's gonna be, but we could try both sides. We've always had it on the right-hand side, so, because of most of the announcers are on the right-hand side, so.
Right.
But it is true, just like Margie was saying, if you have your program, you're following along, when you see that
Yeah.
the person that's walking on the right-hand side is number 42, or the car club is number 42, and you go, oh, this is Hot Rods Unlimited, and can move down the line, or you figure out it's Lake Forest Little League, that type of thing. But we can definitely label both sides and give two signs for whether it be a small and a large. We could do 4 signs instead of just 2, if that helps.
Yeah, because traditionally, over the years, Manager Lisak, the entries normally don't. I mean, I know like Relay for Life does, but normally they don't. And I feel, it's pretty easy to follow with the program, but, because the program is really well done, and the floats do go in order. I don't recall a year they were out of order. So, because I know we're merging from Toledo, and then you merge in the bands here, and then you merge in the car clubs, and I don't know how you guys keep it in order, but nice job. So.
I have another comment. Veterans Day, November 11th, is just coming up, and I wanted to find out what programming, if any, is being planned, perhaps at the Veterans Park, for that particular day. It may be too far out that we haven't thought about planning, but I just want to put that into the planning queue, start thinking about programming for November 11th. Oh, I'll form as a question. What are the plans, if any, for November 11th?
Well, every year we do our Veterans Day event at the clubhouse. At this point, we don't have anything on the schedule for Veterans Park, as we've discussed in the past with the neighbors that are there, that they really wanted us to keep limited programming there. So we can discuss moving forward, but that was their wish when we revised that park, is to have limited amount of programming there.
I fully respect that. At the same time, I like to see if we can have something under the radar that won't be obtrusive, but still take advantage of the Veterans Park for some type of ceremonial, perhaps some type of program that we can do.
Commissioner Scheer, if I may, I know in the past few years, what we've been able to do, like a video of some sort with, as a program where it doesn't necessarily bring people to the park, but it's a way of recognizing Veterans Park and the day as well. And so I think that's worked well over the past few years, so we probably would look to do something similar to that again.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, something like that, but if we can keep that programming up like that on a yearly basis would be terrific.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. That's all I have. Oh, one last thing, before I forget. We have discussed the fact that we have invitations out for the Majeska House and Gardens here in, near Cook's Corner in Majeska Canyon. And it's actually the city of Silverado, which is unincorporated. And I just want to get a consensus of, I believe Kelly, you're planning to come with your two, and Loretta and yourself too. And I tried to get a hold of Susie. I haven't heard back from her. But is any staff, do you think, might have an interest? I realize August was a busy month. The feedback I got was August was just fully booked out. So I doubt if anybody in the staff, but I certainly like to extend the invitation for August 20th, and starting at 10 o'clock in the morning. I have directions, and I think I sent out an email with some directions, but I can have it resent. And since it's required to have reservations, I need to know ahead of time so we can have your name entered into the reservation queue. And other than that, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Shira. Vice Chair Herron?
Okay, I'm getting there. So, not to embarrass you, but some people came late. Did you want to have, was there anything you wanted to, I guess I'm asking if you need to talk to us or submit it. Oh, you're good, okay. I just didn't want you to feel left out. My apologies. Just trying to make sure everybody gets included. All right, so what a fun summer, at least I've had. I know, that's true. Well, because I have a good attitude. I always try to make sure I have.
Loretta always has fun.
So I've been really busy. This city keeps me hopping here. So I attended the Lake Forest Legislative Luncheon, the Senior Advisory Board meeting, and then I did go to Sing 2 when we had that. I couldn't stay for the whole thing. And the parade wrap-up meeting, which is always so helpful, and I did go to National Night Out. And I do want to talk about some of the concerts I've attended have been excellent. I mean, of course, ours is wonderful. But I did get to see Tijuana Dogs in Irvine, and they did a really good job. And so maybe put them on the list for next year, because they really do an great job. And then, and I do want to thank Brett for coordinating that we could do our, to honor Jim Rosenberg from our California commissioners. And then I went to the Orange County Fair, and I saw the ABBA tribute band and the Bee Gees, and another excellent concert that they put on. But I was surprised. It was sold out, and everybody, young, old, doesn't matter, they were up singing and dancing. They knew all the words. I mean, these were like high school kids, too. So I don't know, that might be kind of fun to have an ABBA concert, just putting that out there. And then I went to, they had an Uptown Funk through the Orange County parks, and it was so nice. I ran into Commissioner Gould there, so that was a lot of fun. And I was amazed, the gentleman that portrayed Bruno Mars stayed in character the whole concert, and I think afterwards, too, he was still, so that's another fun group, and I was surprised, all ages, everybody loved them. And I guess that's about it, because I've been so busy. I think that's enough. And I have, like I said, I've got all the stuff. The new events are in my calendar already, and I'm looking forward to more. So thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Herron. Just a few comments. First of all, I hate to be redundant and repetitive, but the staff, amazing. So thank you. And Laura, as far as the parade, a lot of people might think that's the only thing you do, but we all here know, and anybody out there, that's not the only thing she does. It's part of a lot of things she does, and I don't know how you quite manage it, but great job, just fantastic. And the faces, as we said at the last meeting, everybody was so happy to have the parade back. You could see on the faces. And thank you for that great float, as I mentioned at the last meeting that we rode in. Where Buddy was his name, the carriage driver would go to the kids and they get sighted, then he'd go there, and then he'd do a spin at the intersections. That was great. And as I mentioned last time, the announcer is so much better. A few places, but still, Larissa was great, of course, so I really could hear what they were saying. Attended National Night Out last night. It was a lot of fun. Got to see the helicopter. And at my job that I work at, that I started 3 months ago, my owner of the company happens to live in Lake Forest, and he was surprised to know, I keep telling him about all these great events, so, but he doesn't get a leaflet, so I can contact the city to see if maybe we can get him on the leaflet list. I'll send you his address and everything. But he was very impressed. I told him to bring his dog, and the helicopter, as always, was fantastic, and the way he kind of comes forward instead of lifting straight up, and the kids are like, and then he took off. That was really a nice finale to that event. Well turned out, the chamber and just all the booths. And I also would like to thank Loretta for making it happen, honoring Jim Rosenberg at the last council meeting. I was there, Diane Rosenberg was there, and it was quite moving. And, he was a commissioner, but he was also our friend. He was our Santa to Loretta and I, were Jingles, his elf, so fond memories. So thank you, Loretta, for remembering our friend. And I think that's all I have. I guess, Commissioner, Deputy City Manager Channing, I just noticed there's no September meeting.
That is correct. We are going to be canceling the September meeting.
Okay, ready.
We have Vice Chair Herron has an item.
Vice Chair?
Yeah,
Karen?
yeah, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was so excited about my list. So I do want to talk about the family camp out that we had at the sports park. I went that night. It was wonderful. The families were all having a great time. I got to help with whatever they needed. They had the granola handout. I think most people like me put chocolate chips in their little granola packet. But when I went back the next morning, unfortunately, the sprinklers had decided to come on at midnight, went on for 4 hours, and that put, I don't mean to be a pun, but that put a big damper, wet damper on everything. And I've already talked to Mr. Channing in regards to that. They figured out even though they had confirmation that their sprinklers were not going to go on, there was a little oopsie thing that happened. And I want to thank Brett for looking into it and taking care of that. But I think in the future, we can't let that happen. I'm going in my stern mother voice. My son told me to use that stern mother voice. So we can't let that happen in the future again, because that is very embarrassing. Even though when I did go there the next morning, I did try to lighten the mood a little bit, and I said, you know what, you've got a great story now to tell about this family camp out to all your friends that you know.
The sprinkler.
Yeah, so it was too bad that the sprinklers came on. And I guess in the future, perhaps now we'll have to have someone there from Public Works all night long to make sure that doesn't happen again, because that didn't go well for the community. And I mean, things happen. But, so we just have to learn from it and be better. And like I said, the campers that I spoke to, they're like, yeah, we tried to help, and I appreciate that. But anyway, so I just want to make sure next year, better, no sprinklers on in the middle of the night. And I have to commend staff that was there. They worked so hard to, try and do whatever they could to make it right. And they did. I just can't even say enough great things. Well, we all have great staff, period. Boom. Anyway, so thank you again for everything. And that's it now.
Okay, thank you, Vice Chair Herron. As Deputy Senior Manager Channing just stated, we will not be a September 7th meeting of the Community Commission. So our next regularly scheduled meeting of the Community Service Commission will be Wednesday, October 5th. So everybody have a great Labor Day, which who can believe, did I just Labor Day coming up? Yeah. Seemed like it was just the 4th of July, so Labor Day. So we'll see you then, and thank you, everybody in attendance, and thank you, Mr. Erdman, and Mr. Edwards, thank you for your comments. Look into the pickleball. Okay, this meeting is adjourned.